Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It's Chili here doing a special episode. I'm going to do a bit of a reaction and going to talk about a certain link that I had seen from Spin. The article just reads that these are the 12 worst albums ever ranked, and I thought it'd be interesting just to go through the list, see what they had, offer a little bit of commentary, and I guess see what else was on the list to see if there's any music I might enjoy. So, without further ado, let's go check out this list that Spin has made from the 12 worst rock albums. Okay, Spin, 12 worst... it's heavy metal, I should say, not rock. The 12 worst heavy metal albums of all time. Let's see what is up first. And we've got a picture of Dave Mustaine. Why is that always a good start? So... Octagon by Bathory. That's interesting to see. I gotta say, I haven't heard a lot of Bathory. I think I did a review on them not too long ago. So I've never heard of this album. What does it have to say about it? The regression from Triumph Viking Metal, Bathory. No, I have heard of Bathory. Sorry, I haven't heard this album. I listened to some of the stuff from like 88, 89. It's got some red cover. I'll put the picture up just as reference for the album. I thought it was pretty good. But let's see. Regression from Triumph Viking Metal to Primitive Thrash was a fun trend bucker in Requiem. But how do you pronounce that? Corathorn? Took a terrible turn with Octagon. Oddly. Why is it with bands doing weird turns with the name Oct in it? I mean, I'm doing a review on the Mars Volta's Octahedron, and that'll be coming out soon, and it just seems like everything with Oct after it just seems to change a bit. Even Dream Theater's Octavarium. But anyway, let's see here. So, an album deliberately against fashion. He aims for a streetwise Phil Anselmo tone in his lyrics, but doesn't nail it at all. Yeah, I couldn't see them doing that really well. I know that groove metal was big at the time, and I guess that was an influence and style that they're trying to go for with the album, but I don't know what to say about it, so I'm going to move on. Sorry. I was about to say black metal. What? The original album by Venom? Shut up. So, okay. Nearly every veteran metal band reaches some level of self-parody. Interesting. But only Venom could take an album that sounds like green jelly, making a Venom album. What the heck? They must have thought they were real slick calling their album Metal Black, thinking we didn't notice that it was a dumb idea. That is a stupid idea. Metal Black, as opposed to what? Overly compressed, overly forced, and overly long. It's an insulting version of their classic second record. Teacher's Pet was beyond juvenile, but fun, nothing joyous. Okay, so it sounds like it was a re-recording and just sounded like it was a bad reissue there. That's disappointing. I've only heard their early stuff anyway from Venom. I haven't really heard nothing of their new material, so I couldn't really say. So what's up next here? Number 10. Oh, that... Triggered. Really? Infestism? I've mispronounced that. Alright, yes, Ghost are a popular target amongst criminally old at heart bros, and it's not entirely deserved. That's true. They do not deserve the hate that the band get. You know, if you want to be that person who gatekeeps and say, oh, they're not heavy metal, fair enough. Yeah, sure, they're not heavy metal, but shut up, they write good music. You want a band that sounds like old bands but don't want people to listen? Yeah, well, they made that point right there. Not only like that, Dark Dawn's Fenris and stuff, yada, yada, yada. The second album... Oh, no, what happened there? It went bigger. Second album, Infantil, was their big entrance. I'm not even speaking well today. I needed another coffee. To the mainstream media, and it was not a first great impression. Their debut's Merciful Fate VR BOC vibe is flattened to homogeneous guitar. I don't know. I don't agree with that statement, man. Sure, it's not their best effort. I ain't disagreeing with that, you know, but I mean, the band's only got a couple of albums out anyway, but it still had some really good tunes on that album. Yeah, just going over it quickly, you know, what have we got here? See, I liked Year Zero and, you know, Secular Haze and stuff like that. I thought there were some really good tracks on here. I don't think it deserves the hate that it's a worst metal album. I could definitely think of others ahead of this, but we shall see if it reaches the target. I don't think that's a deserve. This one shouldn't be on the list. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. I disagree with that one. again, Machine Head, Supercharger. Alright then. Definitely is one of my least favourite Machine Head albums. Machine Head tried to catch up with the new metal trend, which they started, of course, on Burning Red there, and they went full on with this album. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, they did that. Again, I can't really defend this album. I don't know if I'd call it the worst one, but yeah, look, it's definitely an album that I've forgotten for good measure. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, supposedly its prospects were doomed thanks to 9/11. I've heard that before in music. But if you've actually listened to it, oversensitive radio programmers aren't to blame here. Yeah, I'll agree. Rob Flynn gets away with doing a Tarzan intro on American High because his quasi-rapping later on is what people think of when they go bag on nu metal. No comments there. Yeah. And I mean, I remember Burning Red and stuff like that when they went and did their nu metal, the rapping bit. And I'm like, oh, this is not, yeah, it's terrible, but it's not the worst thing that's been out there. Looking at you, Crazy Town. But still, there's a lot more worse albums out here than I could think of in the nu metal. Nu metal in particular, there is like a plethora of just shit albums, and I don't think this deservedly sits in this spot, I should say, here. Alright, moving on. Never heard of this. Who the hell is Cro-Mags? Even the album cover looks like something from the 80s. Is this like an Indian metal band, or New York? Okay, hardcore pioneers. First three albums were hugely influential on crossover thrash. Guess so, but never heard of them. Most notably, their second album, Best Wishes, makes up a third of Power Trip's DNA. Power Trip. Are they talking about... No, that's Power Man 3000. No, I couldn't say I know of this band. Might be the worst thing that's ever happened, but I just don't know. If there's an album completely tainted by its vocals, it's this one. Fair enough. John Joseph cannot do highs at all. To say he flew too close to the sun would simply imply that he could not get close in the first place. War on Streets has a truly bizarre vocal performance where he sounds like a fast-talking Blitz Ellsworth trying to impersonate Jeff Tate. Never as a singer had such disregard for the rhythms behind him. Joseph does a little bit of things on blah blah blah. Age Quarrel, Rumble Back for Death in the Womb, an anti-abortion song. Fair enough. Hardcore fan, look, whatever, it's politics. There's going to be songs that you probably don't like when it comes to politics and music. It's up to you. You don't have to add that little section of it. Oh, whatever. It's up to the writer, I guess. It's up to them. Whatever. I may not agree with their cause. I don't know. I've never heard the fucking band. Obviously, they're not that influential and not that big. Hell, people comment below. Should I be checking them out? Is this a band I might like? Crossover thrash, though. Maybe. Okay, I won't disagree with this album. This was a pretty terrible album. Iron Maiden's Virtual 9. 11. I had to... Sorry, I got that wrong. So, what do they described it as a near-death experience in the vocals, and music do not mesh. Yeah, this is a really bad album. Right up from the album cover, of course, which wasn't done with the original artist doing. I mean, that Eddie is just atrocious. And then you got that headset on this guy. Look at this shit. That is like true 90s right there. I think this was like 99, wasn't it? Virtual. I would like to think it was 98. Virtual, XI. It was, oh god, and it got a remaster? Oh, that's just worse. 98, there we go. Yeah, I remember this one. It had a lot of terrible songs on it. Lightning Strikes Twice. No, it was The Angel and the Gambler. That was like the decent song I remember. The Klansman. Yeah, I don't really recall this album too well. This is definitely one of the two albums that I just do not listen to from Iron Maiden. I fall into two worlds when I go into Iron Maiden because obviously there's their early stuff, up until Basically up until 92 when they did the... I should say No Prayer for the Living. Roughly up until that era. Then there's like... everything from Seventh Son before is really good. And then everything post Brave New World has mostly been good. I'm not going to say all of it, but it's two different beasts, you know. It's the Jekyll and Hyde, but if Jekyll was also Jekyll. Anyway, and I love both of those eras in the band. I feel like I really want to do a rating from worst to best of Iron Maiden, because it's one of those bands where those albums change a lot for me. You know, sometimes I could be really into A Matter of Life and Death, and that one might sit, you know, in the top 3 almost. Brave New World will jump up there again with Book of Souls. And then, of course, I'll get back into their older stuff, and I'll be loving Killers and Peace of Mind and Power Slave. And it's really hard to rate those albums because, you know, when you're going up against them, they are just different beasts altogether. But they're just such good albums at the same time. Different feels, their latter stuff has been just longer material, but I enjoy that more progressive and longer storytelling art. Not saying that I miss their faster paced songs, of course, but you know, the band's been going on for like 45 years. They're not going to keep writing smash thrash pieces. But continue on here. So yeah, Virtual was terrible. I don't know who the heck. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Nachtmystium. What's that? German for like mystical night? Nacht is night. Mystium. Assassins Black Metal Part 1. Oops, gonna have to censor that. Okay, so going against the norm is how you succeed as a black metal band. Yes, to a degree. The gushing narratives and glowing reviews write themselves, making traditionalists mad alone does not make a great album. And this one fooled many self-satisfying metal quasi-aficionados into thinking a piss puddle is Lake Superior. The album... A piss puddle is Lake Superior. Jesus, that's an analogy. Most of the album's psych influenced doesn't come through, sounding like rote black metal with 70s electronics grafted in on selected spots. It's not mind-bending. I mean, look, it's interesting. It's been done with, what is it, Bathory or, who's the guy who got out of prison recently from Mayhem? He's done some weird electronic shit. It's not like you can't do it, but obviously be prepared to be written into a niche. Can't say I've heard of this band. Wouldn't be able to make too much of an opinion here. Anthrax got on the list. We've come for you all. Out of the big 4, this is definitely the band that gets the least love from me. And I know this album's not even on Spotify. It's kind of disappointing because from memory, there was at least one song around that time that I really did enjoy, and it was on a heavy metal playlist I had. Best of CD from like 2001, 2003, and it was a really good song that I've just absolutely forgotten right now. But the albums, what is it? Sound of White Noise, I think, is the last one that they've got. They got obviously their originals from Sound of White Noise. But then after that, it's, like you're missing 3 or 4 albums here. You know, Stomp 442, Volume 8, The Threat is Real. And I'm pretty sure that's the one that I might be... No, it's not that one, sorry. It's definitely We've Come For You All then. Black Dahlia, no. Crash. Safe Home. That's the song that was on some heavy metal Headbangers Ball disc or something. And I remember that song, I loved the Safe Home. That was a really good track. I couldn't tell you about the rest of the album. And obviously they had to include something big there. I mean, hell, it's got Dimebag Darrell on there. God damn. I have not listened to this album at all. I couldn't tell you if this is a good album or not. And I really feel like, why do you not have... Why do you not have the these albums on Spotify. It kind of annoys me. But then again, like I said, look, I haven't listened to an extreme amount of Anthrax. Definitely the one that gets the least love from me. So, maybe, oh no, sorry, I have just looked up now. Volume 8 is on Spotify. But then it jumps all the way to worship music. So, there you go. Something new you've learned. But, yeah, look, maybe I might listen to some Anthrax. I'm on the living after this. It's been a long time. Who is up next here? 6 Feet Under, Graveyard Classics. Again, it's another probably black metal band I've just never heard of. So what is this? The covers album is a classic We're Out of Gas move, but leave it to Chris Barnes and 6 Feet Under to butcher that format and thus expand on paradigm of shittiness. Fair enough. You think you've heard the worst Smoke on the Water or Purple Haze, but you haven't heard them hacked by a band with no sense of groove. Bill Ward needs to condemn Sweet Leaf. Oh, I see. It's a best of. Sorry, it's a covers album. Oh, no. Is it really? Who did they cover? 6 Feet Under. I've got to see who else they do here. Couldn't say I've heard of the band here, so this is from 2000. Oh, the cast TNT. So they got AC/DC, Sweet Leaf, Prana, Son of a Bitch, don't know, Stepping Stone. Is that a Jerry Cantrell song? Can't remember now. Confused California Uber Allies. God, what a fucking combination. Smoke on the Water, Purple Haze, In League with Satan. Even going down to Venom levels. That would be... I don't know what to say. I feel like I should listen to it just to see what the hype is about. But you know what? I'm going to do that. Give me just quickly. I'm going to go listen to something. Smoke on the Water. What the fuck is this? Okay, that's enough of that. Nah. Don't bother listening to that. A Perfect Circle's Emotive is on here as one of the worst albums. Fuck off. Now you're doing my head in here. Graveyard Classics does not have a lock on covers records. That's a big fucking call. I'm not saying it's a perfect record. Hell, covers albums are very risky to do it. I think only Metallica's done it justice with Garage Inc. Everyone else has just failed, but you know, look, it's not great covers, sure, but at the same time, they're not horrible. It's not a bad album. I don't think it should be under the worst. You want a worst covers album? Actually, put Rage Against the Machine on there. Everyone says they haven't made a failure of an album, but fuck off. That album by Rage Against the Machine was just... I hated it. I do not like the album. Every time I think of their albums, I always forget Renegades. That album sucks. Put that on the list. Fight me. You can't change my mind. That album sucks ass. Remove Emotive and put Renegades on here. If you want to talk about covers albums that are useless. Not going to fight that one. Yeah, Megadeth's Risk was... I'm going to go Saint Anger as number one then. Megadeth's Risk is definitely an average album, to say the least. I don't even think it has a redeeming song on there. I think I remember listening to it back in the day. I was like, what the fuck is this? Enter the Arena. Okay, Crush 'Em. That wasn't bad. I liked Crush. Actually, Crush 'Em was the first Megadeth song I listened to, so have mercy on me. Somehow I persevered and managed to get into their earlier stuff. But I liked Crush 'Em back in the day. I don't know. You know, I had that on a WCW album back in the day, and it was someone's intro, and for some reason I thought, yeah, that's a cool song. I still like it from now. You know, people will still like, you know, certain music they heard back in their childhood and can't change their mind. As far as the rest of the album, yeah, look, it's pretty average. There's definitely a lot better when it comes to Megadeth, but yeah, this is definitely the worst Megadeth album that has ever been put out. Now, if Saint Anger is number one, oh, wow. Damn. Eyes Thirst, The Glorious Burden. Now, that is bullshit. Straight up. I've done a worst to best album reviews for Iced Earth. And look, not all of it's perfect, and obviously a lot has to do with American history on this album. So I kind of don't get a lot of it. I know of the history, but I don't feel for the history here. What do they have to say? Okay, 9/11 broke Iced Earth. Very true. Yeah, he left after the Glorious Burden to pursue a job with the Fireys, I believe. Joined up with the Fires. But, I mean, like, he had such good songs like When the Eagle Cries. Yeah, it's over-the-top patriotic and probably hasn't aged as well. But at the time, it was a pretty damn decent song. So what do we got here? What do they have said? John Schaffer fashioned himself a born-again patriot and decided to make it everyone's problem with The Glorious Burden, a monument to America's bullshit that's also a cautionary tale in how aimless rebellion, pretty common in metal, can go horribly askew. Man, this guy does not like John Schaffer, does he? Schaffer saw how mainstream country was exploiting 9/11, decided he should be a sensitive badass too. When the Eagle Cries, his Iced Earth's attempt at their own, where were you, when the world stopped turning? And as a result created one of the worst metal ballads in history. Disagree. Highly disagree. Mopey, have you heard of Stained? Moby Schlock has never been so disrespectful. Right After the Reckoning is a speed metal courtesy of the red, white, and blue, galloping and screeching, blah, 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 blah. And we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the America way. Not that better. Okay, so what are we going to go? Anyhow, these two songs alone are so extreme, it's not worth delivering into the 30-minute suite about Gettysburg. You've taken too much already. For fuck's sake, this album starts with the Star Spangled Banner. A move so corny that some European editions omitted this track. I didn't know that. And that is better infinitely. Yes, I've said this before. Don't do the Star Spangled Banner. It's been done too many times. I said this on Ted Nugent's 5-minute review. It's been done so many times. Stop doing it. And I'll continue to say that as well. The stench is intoxicating. Tim Ripper Owens, fresh out of Judas Priest, gives one of his best vocal performances, and even if Schaffer is too tethered to galloping thrash rhythms, he at least knows their utility. I don't know what to say about that. That's bullshit, I reckon. That is absolute bullshit. If you haven't heard the last 3 tracks, which all relate to Gettysburg, then you're a fool. It's probably the finest half hour I've ever heard in metal history. Those 3 tracks alone are just amazing. You know, the album, look, I'm not going to say it's all perfect. It definitely did. It was overbearing in regards to its American history and all that. But the album itself is still very good. Very good metal. Hold at All Costs, High Water Mark, and The Devil to Pay, Hold at All Costs, and High Water Mark. Those 3 tracks right there are fantastic. Those 3 you got to play one after the other, and it obviously tells a story about the Gettysburg, the Battle at Gettysburg. The Battle at Gettysburg. Yeah, and I remember because I know John Schaffer is a massive history buff, and when he was writing this album, he only had like a little short song about it, and he didn't think it did it justice. So he went and visited the battlefield over there at Gettysburg, and he ended up so inspired that he wrote this 30-minute piece. And I still think it's probably Iced Earth's best material. And I mean that, like, they have a lot of really good songs, but I rate this so high up there in their catalogue. It's probably those 3 songs all together, some of the best material they ever put out. Sorry, my manager's coming to check on me. She's saying you should shut up and in this episode right here. Alright, well, that was Andy O'Connor's lists of 12 worst albums. Look, I disagree. I guess they did say heavy metal, but they did include a few new metal bands, 1 or 2 new metals. Look, if you're going to go with new metal, you could just make this whole list out of new metal. So I think it's fair that they only did like 1 or 2, with Machine Head's Supercharger. Look, new metal is like low-hanging fruit. You could easily make up 11 of these albums from a new metal bands. But anyway, I think I think the list is flawed. There's still a lot of stuff that I just haven't listened to from that. Maybe I might listen to it. I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed this episode of my commentary regarding the 12 worst metal albums. Hopefully you've enjoyed this list and found something interesting. And hell, comment below. What do you think were the 12 worst comment? Or just write what you think was an album that they missed and they should have put up there, because I'll say it right away. I'm going to say Stained with its 14 Shades of Grey. I think, even though I love that album, I do know it's a terrible album. People are probably going to say Limp Bizkit's Results May Vary. Yeah, I agree with you too there. I still love that album. These are all music that I just grew up on, so I grew up listening to it. I loved it back in the day, and I still love it. It's like my guilty pleasures album. Results May Vary. Anyway, comment below, guys. What do you think? What should have made that list? What shouldn't be on that list? Or whatever you thought in regards to this episode. And as always, everyone, you stay spicy out there. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.